So I haven't done a handbag review video in quite some time, and that's mostly because a lot of the new bags in my collection I've only had for a couple of months. However, there was critically one bag that I've been using almost on a daily basis, and I honestly think for the price, for the quality, and for the brand in itself, it is such a good investment. And this bag is none other than my very trusty Louis Vuitton Onthego Tote in the size GM, and it's in this very limited edition and incredibly beautiful 1854 jacquard print. Now, I've made a couple of videos in the past featuring this bag, and I've had this since I think May last year, so it has been over a year now, and my goodness, the time has flown by. I thought I would sit down and film one of my very, very popular in-depth review videos. I'm going to go through in the same formula as a lot of my other review videos if you've seen them in the past. So I'll talk a little bit about the context of the bag, the composition, as well as the measurements, even the weight. I'll get my trusty kitchen scales out. I'll also show you what fits, all the ways to wear it, as well as the typical pros, cons, overall wear and tear, and then just my final thoughts. So this should be a very comprehensive video for you. Hopefully it's gonna be a useful resource if you are considering this particular bag. So let's start off with a little bit of background as to how the Onthego Tote came about. So Louis Vuitton actually launched this bag not so long ago actually. It was in early spring 2019, and you've probably seen the more basic or just plainer monogram print canvas bags. It was an immediate smash hit. Since that point, Louis Vuitton have released many more in different materials and colorways and even sizes. And for what I understand, the bag comes predominantly of 3 sizes. It's the PM, which is the smallest size. I believe that one can go crossbody. The MM size, and I guess that one's more for like an everyday, but not work bag. And then finally, you have the GM size, which I have here, which comfortably fits a lot of items in, including a laptop. And it's not a surprise that the Onthego Tote captured the attention and the hearts of so many luxury lovers out there, namely because of the distinctive monogram print. You can get the eye-catching versions, the more gaudy of the lot, or you can get a little bit more understated, muted colorways, and even some interesting prints like this one. Not to mention that there were so many sizes available that there was bound to be something that suited everybody. And above all of that, you have a very, very good price point. At the time that I bought this bag, and I bought this one in the Harrods boutique, of course. I think I had a little bit of a sales credit or something to redeem, but I think from memory it was £2,050. You can go correct me if you watch that unboxing video that I did there, because I do read straight from the receipt. And even today, I think from just checking online, I would say it's a great price point for what you get. And I think that's really a big appeal of what made this bag initially so popular. What drew me to this bag was that it was monogram, but not super in your face. And I know some people out there might be like, Mel, what are you talking about? There's monograms. I mean, you can see it hidden within the jacquard print, but it's not super in your face, converse to the, typical monogram canvas version, especially when the LV is humongous. In terms of the monochrome, I think it looks very classy and elegant. And also it is a sturdy bag with shape. It's quite boxy, as you can see, but I think it looks very, very professional despite being of the bougier kind of a work bag. And, it holds its form really well. And I know from personal experience in looking for a work bag, particularly if you are looking at Louis Vuitton, a lot of people may gravitate towards the Neverfull bag range. But certainly I feel like the Onthego Tote is somewhat underrated. I feel like it is gaining in popularity, and it's becoming kind of their new classic. I feel like for the price point, it is incredibly competitive, and I prefer it to the Neverfull, and hopefully you'll see throughout this video why that is. So in terms of the tour of the bag, let's start from the outside and work our way in, shall we? So as you can see, like I mentioned before, you've got a fabric jacquard outer. It looks like it's been very neatly stitched in, I presume by machine, because God forbid someone is doing this by hand. And that print follows throughout the back of the bag, the sides, and even the base, which is super nice. Then obviously you've got the leather trim details. So you've got that on the bag handles. You've got a pair of handles here, so you can kind of do like a crook of the arm moment or hand carry it. And then actually you've got a very nice and cool addition of 2 longer shoulder straps that you can very comfortably sling over your shoulder when things get a little bit heavier. Or sometimes I like to use this to loop around a bigger suitcase so that my bag doesn't fall off if I'm traveling, for example. And I just love the fact that it can tuck in and be pulled out instantly, and there's not 2 massive handles slouched on the side. You've got the leather details in terms of the fastenings here. They're all gold hardware. I have hanging on here, in case you're wondering, a Dior star that I got given by a lovely sales associate a couple of years ago, and I think it complements the bag quite nicely. Anyway, let's go inside, and actually I just released the inside fastening. Hopefully you can see here there is just a D-ring fastening here that will secure your bag, because one of the things that I was really cognizant of when I was looking for a work bag is obviously I want to be able to get in and out of my bag pretty easily, but I also want it to be quite secure. Some people will say it's not enough, but I think when you actually have it filled to the brim and you have this D-ring, it's actually very difficult, especially if it's over your arm, to be able to reach in and grab something. So I actually found this a real big plus. And it also means that even if the bag is full, and I've had it in instances where I've gone shopping, for example, or on travel trips, here would allow me to have things kind of bulge out the top. As you can see inside, I've got a base shaper here. I'm just going to take this out for a second because I'll talk about that shortly. But inside is actually just a big empty cavern. Other than that though, you've got 2 pockets. You've got an open compartment here, and then also you have the other zipped compartment inside, which you can put a lot more things like that are precious, so your wallet, your keys, etc. Other than that, you've just got the Louis Vuitton Paris made in France stamp there. I know they now make them, I think, in Italy and Spain, etc. And I know some people have kind of like issues with that, and even though it might be snooty to some, I can kind of understand. You know, I feel a type of way if my bag wasn't made in France, where Louis Vuitton headquarters. Inside is microfiber lining. The fact that it's quite light and yet durable, keeping its shape, means that you can fill it completely to your heart's desire. And before I forget, I'll just quickly talk about the base shaper that I have kept in the on the go basically permanently since the day that I bought it. This one is from Samorga, which a lot of you may be familiar with. This isn't a shill, but I do have a code if you do want to use it. It's Melancello. I think it still works. Otherwise, I mean, it's no big deal. I don't earn anything from it. This bag keeps its shape even without the base shaper, but as you can see, over a period of time, if it's not on an even surface, it can be prone to slouching over here. So I permanently keep this felt liner in. I believe this one is in the berry color or the cherry color, one of those two, but it's quite distinctive in terms of the red, so I can actually see all my stuff, whereas the black microfiber lining inside is kind of hard to see all your belongings. And I like how it kind of gives a sort of like Christian Louboutin feel because of the red, so it adds a lot more organizational space here. You've got 2 pockets here, you've got a water bottle slot here, which is a godsend, and then you have some other compartments on the side, and overall it doesn't even add weight really to the bag, so would highly recommend. However, speaking of weight, and I guess just size in general, I'm going to move to the next part of this video, which I know a lot of you find very useful and interesting, and that's the detailed specifications of the bag. So I will start with the measurements of the bag so that you get a feel for its size. So in terms of the bag width, then you've got 41 centimeters here, then you've got 34 centimeters here up top, and then the depth is 19 centimeters. So in inches, we've got the width is 16.1 inches, the height is 13.4 inches, and the depth on the side here is 7.5 inches, and that is, just to clarify, just for the GM size. However, if you are looking for the measurements of the other size of the bag, I would highly recommend you consult the website, as they do actually state all of the measurements. Now what I'll do is I'll actually weigh the bag, because that's the specification that you don't find online. And what I'll do is I'll weigh it without the bag organizer. As we enter the what fits in the bag section of this video, I'll pop the organizer back in because I like how it gives me a little bit of structure, and then I will weigh the bag afterwards so you can see just how much this bad boy packs. What I have in front of me to help with that, as you can probably imagine if you watch a few of these videos, is my trusty kitchen scales, and I'm just hoping it will capture it correctly because the bag is quite large.
Moments later.
Oh, it's not really working because the bag is so slouchy, but I'll say it was about 120 grams. So compared to some of the other bags I've weighed in the past, I think this might be even lighter than those bags. But obviously take that with a pinch of salt. Now let me just, for experimentation's sake, pop the bag insert in because I'm gonna start packing this bad boy up. And now if I weigh it, and that is 139. Okay, so about 140 grams. So that just added a meager 20 grams onto it, which is nothing. Let's get into stuffing this bag. I have so many items sprawled out on the table in front of me, but I'm actually concerned I'm gonna run out of items because this bag packs a lot. And I'll start with a wallet, and I'm just going to put that in the zip compartment. And in fact, this is just kind of like packing my work bag, so I'm ready for the days ahead. Then I have my keys, and I'm just popping all of this, by the way, into the, I'll turn it this way so you can see, the zip compartment here. This is a new pair of Chanel sunglasses that I got from Paris. So, you know, while there's still sun, I'll pop it in. Then what I'll do is I'll pop an umbrella inside because it rains more often in this country, so it's a bit of a juxtaposition, but hey ho. Now I've got a little bottle of water. I'd usually bring a bigger one, but I can't find the bottle at the moment. So in it goes, and it goes in the water bottle compartment very neatly, and it's very helpful because you don't want water falling over in a bag this size. Now onto a more rogue item, and this is my trusty cigar holder that my lovely boyfriend bought me because, as you may know now from my previous videos, I am a cigar lover. So I'm just gonna pop that in actually one of the side pockets because I don't want cigars to go flying everywhere. For more rogue items, but necessary, I have a bag of lady products because you never know when it's your time, or some other women's, they will thank you for it. So you can see that kind of here, so that I have it for quick and easy access, if you see what I mean. Now I have some makeup bits, so I only really bring a powder compact and a liquid lip. Those are the two items that I find that I need the most, and so I just shove those into that little pocket here. And I also have a tiny perfume. This one's actually a, what's this? By Invitation by Michael Bublé. This is a mouth spray, which I'll also pop in that pocket because we never know when we need one. And I've also got some hand wipe sachets and also a hand gel because, you know, we're living in apocalyptic healthcare times, aren't we? So obviously we need a pen. I'll just pop that in that extra pocket. And actually I feel like I need to bulk up the rest of the pockets anyway. So I have a packet of tissues. I've got a hand cream here because after you do this hand wash, it will be dry AF. So I will pop that also there. And these things are just disappearing so quickly. Just in case I have a spot of lunch and I don't have cutlery at work or something, I have a very handy little lunchbox set, so I'll put that with the pen on the side so it doesn't get lost. And speaking of food, I have, if you can hear the crunching, a bunch of I guess, yeah, cereal bars, protein bars of varying brands that I enjoy. I also have some sweeties in case I'm not in the chocolate or proteiny mood, and these are Candy Kittens. Love these so much. My absolute fave. So those are sealed, they can go into the middle cabin. I will put a notebook in first. I also, just for fun, just in case you want a bit of gaming time, relaxation, my Nintendo Switch case with the Nintendo Switch inside. This fits very, very comfortably. And now a few other knickknacks to pop inside. I have an external battery and charger, so I'm gonna pop that in the zip compartment on the side just so it doesn't get lost. I've got this cute little strawberry bag. This strawberry bag has been with me everywhere, though I have bought some new ones, and that is just a strawberry bag that is actually a carry bag, if you can believe it. So this is my laptop. It's a very thin laptop, so This has no problems fitting inside. It's also a 13-inch laptop. And then I will just add the charger to it. It's a bit of a mess, but we will make it work. And then finally, because it is getting rather heavy and we don't like to damage our bags, even though we're doing this as an experiment, I've got my awesome Bose noise cancelling headphones, which I will put on top. But actually what I love to do is when I'm wearing the bag, I can just hang the headphones on the side, and I think it actually looks really cool. That is the handbag packed to the brim. I'm just gonna weigh it just to see the sheer volume this 120 gram bag can fit. So I'm just gonna turn on the kitchen scales.
More moments later.
This is the heaviest bag I think that I've ever weighed on this channel. And so the highest number that I actually saw the weight go up to for this bag was a whopping 2.9 kg or 2,900 grams. And then the lowest I saw was about 2.5 kilograms, so 2,500 grams. So for a 120 gram bag to fit, what's that, like over 20 times its body weight? That is incredible. But I obviously wouldn't recommend it for the day-to-day. I certainly don't pack it this full day-to-day, but just to show you the art of the possible. So I'm just gonna take everything out of this bag, and then I'm just gonna quickly talk through the different ways to wear and style. So in terms of the ways to wear the bag, there are 3 predominant ways that I like to wear it. And so the first one is obviously you can wear it with a top handle vibe. It's quite elegant. You can also do crook of the arm, and it's quite comfortable here, as you can see. You can also do the shoulder carry with the longer straps. That is really handy option for when the bag does get a little bit heavier, or if you want it close to your body for security purposes. So that is the predominant 3 ways to wear it. And I say predominant because you can actually have a 4th way to wear the bag, and that's if you get yourself a separate strap. And this one is again from Samorga. So I just attach it here onto the ring here, and then I do it across to the other side like so. And you can actually wear this like a crossbody bag, which is a really cool option, and you know, adds a lot more kind of customization to the bag as well. And I actually think in terms of the styling, I mean, it's so versatile because of the colorway. It's obviously a neutral. It's something that goes with everything all year round. Like, I've never picked up this bag and thought, oh no, like I can't use it because of my outfit. So with all those things in mind, let's move to the pros and cons section, and we'll start with the pros because, as you can tell, there are many. So the first one that I'll mention is one that I've obviously alluded to throughout, and that is the amount that it fits. Obviously, you saw from the what fits in the bag section of the video, it is a crazy amount that it can fit in there. I've had this bag on any kind of travel occasion, work occasion, and I've never had a point where I had to switch out bags because it didn't fit enough. And based on how much it fits, I even reached for this one way more than I even do the Louis Vuitton Keep All 45 that I have, because this one's so much more practical as a work bag. Next up, let's talk about the price point, which I've also mentioned many times already, because I feel like it is priced incredibly well. And I just think for those of you who are looking for more bag for your buck, this is a great example of that. And I honestly think, and please Louis Vuitton, if you're listening, just look away now, but I honestly thought that this bag was going to be way more expensive than it actually is. Now, I know a lot of people may have criticisms that it's not fully leather, but like I mentioned, the leather would weigh it down a significant amount. There are still leather details throughout the bag in the places that matter, might I add, to create security and strength on the bag. I feel like inside for microfiber lining, it's really easy to clean actually. Plus, you're not going to get a lot of the issues that come with the wear and tear of leather. Even if you're mad about that, you can always still get more expensive leather versions, but I'm perfectly fine with this one and the price point of this one as well, especially in today's climate when you have Chanel bags, which are teeny tiny Chanel bags, going for the upwards of like £7,000 through even to the 10,000s. The other pro that I want to mention is the sheer variety of shapes, sizes and colorways that you can get this bag. And I do think it is a new classic for Louis Vuitton. They keep making it year on year. There is bound to be something for everybody, whether it's super flashy or neon or even down to the plain and more understated. Another pro that I'll mention that is super important to me is the safety and security of this bag. As you can see, there are multiple safety features, namely the D-ring closure here. You've got some zip compartments, as well as other compartmentalization if you do get a separate bag insert. That means that this bag is way safer than some of the more open toe options, which I feel like a lot of people gravitate towards because it's a lot cheaper. I feel like the ways to wear it also mean that it is something that is very easy to be able to conceal my belongings. It means that, you know, I can keep it close to me. In my opinion, there is no price tag on peace of mind and safety, and I feel like this bag has made me feel a lot more confident and secure when I'm going out and about in the busy streets of London. I also want to mention the multiple ways to wear the bag as a really big pro to the On-the-Go Tote. As you've seen from the modeling shots and all of the other demonstrations that I've done already with the different straps, I think it's such a cool USP, to be honest, that the bag even has internal shoulder straps that you can just dig in and out of super quickly. I think it opens up a lot more options, not just in terms of the styling and ways to wear, but also your comfort as well, especially for a bag this size. You can also wear a crook of the arm, as well as, you know, putting on an external strap to sling across your body. So I feel like that in itself means that there are so many options. And then the final pro that I'll have is quite specific to my personal bag, and that is that I feel like it's less flashy than some of the other bags in LV's collection. I feel like the Neverfull and even the Keepall, to be honest, outside of the Eclipse that I have, which is a little bit more understated, I feel like it's quite bold. I don't also want the bag to be super, I guess, what's the word, tacky. And I feel like this bag in comparison is a lot more understated. It's a bit more elegant. Now let's move on to the cons. So the first one I'll talk about is the lack of a zip. In fact, it only has one pocket with a zip inside, and therefore your belongings may be at risk. For me, I find the D-ring is perfectly fine. In fact, I feel like it is even more than some brands or styles of bag like the Neverfull even give to start with. Conversely, in cases like the Lady Dior, where the old versions used to have a zip, obviously it was more secure in terms of your belongings, but people used to get their arms caught on the zipper and that would be quite uncomfortable. So I think it's kind of a double-edged sword, and I personally don't mind it. Another con for some people may even be the price point, which I've mentioned personally I feel like is quite good. However, I feel like some people, because they realise the bag is not fully leather lined, that, you know, they shouldn't have a right to charge that amount of money for something that is basically a mixture of fabric. Louis Vuitton obviously does make fully leather versions, the Empreinte leather. Obviously the price point is a little bit higher. It's Louis Vuitton that you're buying after all, not something down the Primark. I personally don't find it an issue. It makes the bag lighter and that works for me. I feel like also it allows for more intricate designs here. I don't think this particular print would actually show off that well on full leather. I mean, if you can get this bag tax-free abroad or something, or even on the second-hand market, then you might feel a little bit better about stomaching that price point. Let's move on to the wear and tear thus far before we just finish off this video. So in terms of wear and tear, obviously this bag, like I mentioned, I've had it for over a year. And I honestly want to say that this bag is in very good condition. I mean, this bag has been through rain and shine with me, quite literally. And, you know, I'm honestly very impressed that there's no color transfers, there's no visible wear on the bag. As you can see, I'm just going to keep rotating it so that you can have a good 360 kind of look. The corners, yeah, they're a little bit warped in terms of the shape. Some sagging is to be expected on the corners just because of gravity and the weight of things, but overall I think it is looking pretty good for a bag that is used pretty much every day. The base actually, as you can see, is pretty much immaculate. You can't see any marks. Then in terms of the top there, I mean, on the leather details you can see a little bit of wear on the sides. That's to be expected because of the daily use, but even the handles are in pretty good nick. And maybe I'll just take the base shaper out so that you can at least get a better look in there. Apart from some dust, there's no visible markings in there, and it's black, so it is honestly going to conceal a lot of the discolorations, even if there was ones, but obviously this will vary across the different colorways and material of the on-the-go tote that you have. So with that all being said, I'll just end the video on my final thoughts around the bag. Obviously you can tell I love the on-the-go tote so much. It is my workhorse bag because of the price point and how it's a lot lower than some of my, you know, Chanel bags, for instance. I feel safe in the knowledge that I can bring this out and it's not going to be too big of a deal, you know, if I get it caught in the rain. I feel like it's very fuss-free in comparison, and it looks super elegant, super stylish, and for the price, the quality, the hard-wearing nature of it, and the versatility and variety that you can get with the on-the-go tote, I highly recommend this if you are looking for a nice work or travel bag. That ends the on-the-go tote GM review. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know if you have any other questions in the comments, if I've missed a detail. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in my next one.